Hello and welcome to this week's podcast. It's rather different. You're going to have me and me only. I'm going to be talking to you about why I started my podcast and what made it successful in its own sense, and what I learned, the challenges, the ups and downs. We've been running this podcast for about a year now, and I'm really proud. My name is Mina Amso, and this is Notes from the Executive podcast. Welcome. So you must be wondering what's happening with this episode. I realized that I need to come and present a little bit, talk to you about why I started Notes from the Executive and some of the stories behind the scenes of what has made it so successful. And a lot of people have asked me a lot of questions, so I am going to be answering them all in this episode. What made me start the podcast? It's a good question to start. I've always wanted to be on TV. I've always wanted to present on TVs and have my own TV show. And I thought, man, it's going to take a while for me to get recognized or being even picked by big news media, the mainstream. And I thought, look, I can always just have my own show. Why not? Let's just do it. So in 2014, I was thinking about moving from my career in pharmacy, because I was a pharmacist back in the day, believe it or not, and moving into the world of television. And I didn't realize it was going to be media until I had to do a bit of work on myself, understand what I love, what I don't, and a lot of assessment, a lot of reflections, and I did lots of other things. So to cut the story short, I knew that media was the thing for me, and I was inspired by Oprah Winfrey. She had a video about life, leadership, and success or whatever, and on YouTube, she was being interviewed by this girl in Stanford University, and the girl was talking about why Oprah started her journey as in media, and I was like, everything that she said at that time, I just loved. I connected with everything that Oprah was saying in terms of just telling stories, just sitting down and talking to people, and not just reporting on the news, but having a one-on-one chat with people. But obviously I ended up being in the news because that's what she did. And that's what I did, because I wasn't happy with my career. I just didn't find any satisfaction. I just felt like I would need to do something different. I realized that I can talk, I can edit videos, and I can turn them into stories. And I realized I needed to do something different from my career in pharmacy. I just felt like I just didn't fit, didn't work out for me. And for all the pharmacists out there that are doing it tough or doing it well, go you. The career just wasn't for me to do long term. I just knew that there was something more to life than pharmacy. So I got into media, and I did lots of work for news outlets that, I thought, yes, I can do this. So the plan was that I always wanted to present a show like Oprah, and I just was waiting for the opportunity. But I really understood that the opportunity doesn't come. You have to create the opportunity. So COVID-19 came, and I'm like, so what are we going to do now? Lots of people ask me, why don't you do a show? Do a podcast. And I was like, no, thank you. I just want to do something on TV. And I didn't understand. I was so naive. I wish I had a mentor back then. But the point is that COVID-19 came, and I started a show on Facebook, like a Facebook Live, just to chat, interview lots of people, and have discussions. Keep everyone happy, everyone entertained, there's a companionship, I suppose, because there was a lot of loneliness in COVID. And then that just kind of progressed into the show that is today. So thank you, Oprah, if you're listening. Thank you. So I thought when I was thinking, even if I started and it didn't work out really well, so what? We just do it. So I know that when I interview people, I will learn things. And so that's why I wanted to do the show. And I started with a low-key version of what we have today. very much easygoing. You could call it like a lifestyle show with some friends and family and extended contacts. And it was more like a video. And I really enjoyed it. I learned lots, and I interviewed some really interesting and fascinating people back then. But I did know that there was something there that wasn't going to help my podcast be in the top 10. The quality was there, but the quality of delivery wasn't there. So what I started seeing at the time, I wanted to start my own YouTube channel, and that failed miserably because I did not know where to start and where to begin, and I was on my own. I didn't have a mentor. That was in 2021. And so I abandoned the idea and went and worked full time. Fast forward to 2024, when I thought, I was watching lots of YouTube videos, and I was looking for Alex Hormozi. He was having an interview with Stephen Bartlett of the Diary of a CEO. And that's how I discovered the Diary of a CEO in late 2023. And I was like, Stephen Bartlett was making the diary, and I thought, if you can do it, I can do it too. So I did. So I just pivoted my podcast into business and entrepreneurship. And because I find it fascinating how some people have an idea that can turn into a business where people actually buy in and give them money, because money is such an emotional thing, and we're all so attached to our money. Well, some of us. And if we're going to give money to somebody because he or she did something, that is so fascinating. How can you create something and get people to pay for it? I've always loved that. And so combining the love of talking and the love of business and entrepreneurship, I decided to convert or change the directory of this podcast to make it a business podcast. So, and I knew that a lot of people wanted to hear about the podcast in terms of learn about what makes a good business, the challenges of running a business. And I knew that I can tell this story differently than any other podcast in New Zealand that already exists, because there are other business podcasts and entrepreneurship podcasts in New Zealand, but mine is different, and mine is different good. I'm not going to say better, but different good. It could be that if you're listening, you see yourself in me. If you're listening, you see yourself in the guests that I talk to, or you see yourself in the way I ask questions, because we are very similar. Maybe you're a female, maybe you're a guy, but being someone who's in my 30s, I do relate to lots of podcasters and YouTubers, and I watch them because they're similar age to me, similar stage and age. So I do believe that I am not just another podcast. It's an experience. And I totally know your pain and fears that you're going through as an early stage founder and entrepreneur, which is why I started this, because I know there are conversations that we need to have that you need to hear, and it's going to immensely change your trajectory in life. There will be questions that you need to, I need to ask on your behalf, which is why it's really helpful to tell me what questions you like me to ask. So comment them in the comment section below. If you are enjoying this video, I really appreciate it if you comment and let me know what you like, what you don't like. I say it nicely. And subscribe if you haven't done so, because when you subscribe, it really helps the channel to grow. If you don't know that, there's something called algorithm, and algorithm really means the more people like and interact and subscribe to a video, and you do that for free, then, or if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, that means leaving me a review. Right now you can pause the thing and go and leave me a review, or just follow. It means that there's interest in my work. So really appreciate it. So yeah, it was really fascinating to do business, talk about business, to be in business, because I have gotten into business. And when I had my first guest, Rudy Cox from Coffee News, it was such such a buzz. He said yes. He came on the podcast, we chatted, and I was so excited. That was like June last year. We recorded a number of episodes in advance before our launch in September last year, which is September 2025. Sorry, it's just September 2024. And when I was sitting with Rudy, I was just thinking, thank you so much for giving me a chance and for believing in my podcast, for even investing in my podcast so that I can do the production and do this episode and bring it to life through my trailers, which I love doing, and through having a chat to you. So it really felt huge. So I found it easy to run a show, or at least to speak and do the interviews. I mean, I've been a journalist, so talking is not hard, but it was expensive and it was hard. If you're thinking, how was it? It was more expensive and hard to continue than to start. I felt like I knew that I needed to have funds to start the show, and didn't realize how demanding it was going to be financially to keep it going, because there's a lot of costs involved in making this work. But the generous support of some sponsors, we were able to, always, believed that it's going to be possible. I mean, there's such a need for conversations and to reach out to people and reach out to the masses. And I believe I am born for such a time as this, to provide a platform for people to engage and to tell their stories. And I believe I am, I've gotten better at it in terms of asking questions, but we'll get to that later about what I found really fascinating. And I always believe that collaboration to help each other is better than trying to compete. So if I had guests that we would collaborate, we would partner together, and they'll help me bring that episode to life. So if you are someone who has been thinking about coming to my podcast and thinking about, being a guest, please reach out and let's have a chat, because I'll be interested. In terms of challenges, I think having a small team to do the work, it's hard. There's heaps of work to do. You've got to be doing the booking of the guests, actually researching the guest, booking the guest, prepping, filming, uploading, sorting all the files, working with editors, the fact that we need to promote the episode, get the word out, do graphics, do posts. It's so much work. And what you see in front of you, all nicely packaged, is actually hours and hours of work. So it's actually really hard. And if you are thinking, I would love to support Mina, I'd love to help her on her journey as an angel investor or a sponsor or a brand, or just someone who's really wanting to do something really nice, I would really love to talk to you. And you would love to talk to me too, because whatever you give to me, I'm always going to reply or give back 5 times the value. That's how I operate. So some people ask me about what mistakes have I made, and I don't think I made mistakes, in all honesty. I'm not trying to sound amazing and wow and everything, but in true honesty, I don't think I made mistakes, because everything I did was well thought through. Maybe the only thing I didn't think through is how demanding committing to doing a podcast every single week. It is quite demanding, both mentally, physically, financially, and emotionally sometimes. But I don't think I made mistakes in any other ways, because, for example, you would probably ask me and say, why didn't you ask for sponsors at the start of the podcast? And because if I asked sponsors at the start, they would refuse. They would say, you're new, why would we? Prove it, go and run for a wee while. And I think that's true, because when I did start asking for sponsors last year, so that was the midway through, 6 months in, they kind of hesitated, and I knew that that's going to happen. So I didn't really want to. I hate rejection. So, but I also knew it's too early to do that. It's too early to go and find it. So in terms of sponsorships and the likes, I think it was really hard to having to wait, delay the ask delay the ask, which is what I did. But now that I've developed relationships and connections with some of the guests that we've had and their brands and their ventures, you can't help it but have those conversations and develop those connections and say, hey, I mean, I like your product, I like your service, why don't we collaborate? And I believe in your work. I would love to tell the world about it. And we've had so far some incredible brands that have supported us, and I want to, grow that. And I think the key here is to be patient. So this is what I'm trying to do. Look, I knew I knew that it's going to happen, but at the same time, it was the question of when. So my job was to be good at editing, good at sound, good at lighting. And so I decided when I was first thinking about whether to do a Zoom video podcast or in person, do I have cameras, do I have lights, do I have mics, whatever, I thought, okay, we'll do in person because it's better quality, better to have a studio. I have a studio in Auckland. It's better quality. I can actually control the dynamics of the conversation, and it's so much better to sit in front of somebody and have a chat to them. So in terms of doing it in person, that's always been the case. Obviously, it's harder to plan, to organize. It's a lot harder to edit because it's next level equipment and sound and technology. So it's actually more expensive on my part. Because if you just plug in your Zoom or your Google Meet and you just record, but the sound is not great. So I just never wanted to be down that route anymore. And wanted to do something different. And I think this is why I think our podcast is amongst the 1% in the world with the quality of guests, content, and production. And I'm really, really proud of that, which is why we got to be in the top 10, which is exciting, back in April this year. So maybe the one mistake I maybe have done is not having had a co-founder, or maybe early on, I do need a co-founder. I am on the hunt for a co-founder for the show, someone who's able to complement my skills, like either someone who's out there able to connect with new sponsors and partnerships, or able to do the back end hard work of edits and the editorial side of things. But I think I didn't know much at the start, and I was just trying to keep everything afloat and ticking along. So now that we've done a year and understand what's involved into the podcast and what I'm really good at as my own skills and what our weaknesses are, I think I can say for sure that I'm ready for a co-founder. So if you're thinking about being a co-founder, if you are like a journalist, producer, creative director, someone who's good at networking or relationships, able to connect me with people and want to start a show like this, then I'm all ears. Please reach out. But I do wish I had more. I wish I had more investment or capital at the start, as that could have really helped the podcasts grow faster in terms of hiring a producer and hiring an editor on site here in New Zealand, and also because it's such a big operation to get all of these aspects connected. But we've made it. Like me and 1 to 2 other people were able to work on working on this project, and we've made it tick along for a year. So it is possible, but it is hard, and it has been quite stressful at times when I'm thinking, gosh, I don't know if we're going to be able to produce another few episodes because our funds are so low. And I haven't spoken about that on the show ever before, but we're different. We're not like Stephen Bartlett, who have a lot of funds and connections and expertise and doing investments and things. But that's actually a good thing, because I don't need to be like him. And if he's listening, good for you. I like what we're doing, and I'm really grateful for the journey that I've been on and learning. It's a learning for sure, like, I think I've grown as a person way more than I've expected. I mean, I wanted to get on the top charts. I want to be in the top 10. Like, we want to be in the top 10 and on Apple charts and Spotify, and be known for the trusted source of business and entrepreneurship conversations in New Zealand. And at the moment, we were, like I was saying before, top 10 on Apple. So I'm really proud of that achievement. We were like close to Alex Hormozi, like next to Alex Hormozi. I even took a screenshot of it and posted it on LinkedIn because I did not believe, like, really? Us? How? So yeah, I was like, gosh, this is good. The most important thing I knew that I wasn't going to get lots of views at the start. And I was lucky to get a few hundred per episode. The other challenge, this is one of my challenges at the start, but the other challenge is knowing what's working and what's not. And I tried to look at analytics. I have to say, I'm not an analytics person. Not really a numbers person. Like, I don't really do details that much. But I did what I could do to look at what's working, what's not, what shorts are working, what topics are working, what's exciting, what's not exciting. So I think to this day, I look at YouTube data and I ask myself, how can we improve that? What can we do? Which experts can we have on? Who would be good to be on the podcast, and so forth and so forth. I think dealing with low views, some episodes have had low views, and dealing with that has been difficult because we work so hard. I'd work for hours on end, and I would sometimes spend more emotional investment into each episode, and just thinking about how can we do the trailer better and working with the editors. And then I'm like, what? The views are not good. What's this? Why are people not interested in that? Or maybe what are we doing something wrong on our show or maybe on our YouTube channel? And you know, I could have gotten an expert in, but obviously that means investment. Like, it costs money. So we decided to do it in-house, and I learn it myself. It is addictive. It is really addictive but when we do have episodes that do really well, like I think with Francis Valentine's episode that did really well, and like we did 5,500 views. Oh, it was such a buzz. It's so addictive, and you get addicted to that for sure. It's funny we talk about rejection. People ask me, what do you think about, how do you deal with when people don't want to be on your show or when sponsors don't want to sponsor you? I think it's hard. I'm always asking myself, why? Why do you not want to be on my show? Why do you not want to talk about your business or your expertise, your journey? Like, why don't you want to share and help encourage people? Like, don't you have an hour of your time? And it's really different. Different people have different motives and different interests. And some people just genuinely hate talking to people on podcasts or don't enjoy it, don't want to do it. So we are a credible podcast, and we've grown so much. So why people don't come on the podcast, I'm not sure. The rejection can be hard. And so especially when we're a credible podcast and our main thing is to help people, help tell their stories. So maybe it is just not the right time for people. And I've learned to understand that it's not me, it's them. So that's okay. But I am learning to accept rejection. It is hard, and maybe people are not quite ready for us just yet. I want, like, people, sometimes we talk about tall poppy syndrome or not good enough, and I have felt at some points that maybe I am not good enough in doing this work. Like, who am I to do this? Who am I to interview these big names and small names in the business world and entrepreneurship world? But I tried to put myself in their shoes, and I tried to put myself in my shoes and think, why not? Why not? I know a lot about podcasting. I know a lot about telling stories and speaking, and I'm quite natural at it. So I think I just let the doubts come, let them flow a little bit, and then just kick them out. And then I'll just move on. Just go, how can we do this better? How can we achieve this better? What can we do to get out of, what can we do to make this show, this episode a lot more enjoyable and interesting? I kind of think of the long term. So I'm a bit of a long-term planner, and I don't like to quit, because people have asked me many times, have you tried to quit? Did you think about stopping? I have thought a lot about it when things have been tough, whether to stick around. But when I insist on being loyal to this cause and stay committed, I feel like my character just builds and grows. There's something powerful and beautiful about being committed to something, committed to long term, and being there every single week, being present every single week, being committed to show something every single week and not stop. I love it. I love being committed. So, yeah. And the other question people ask me is, what do you do to get good guests? How do you get them to say yes? Ask nicely. maybe get other well-known guests first, and then be like, hey, they have been on and they have been on, so you should really be on. I mean, come on. You do really want to say no? And some people actually say no, okay, because these people have been on. They trust me a little bit more. And so, I just have been consistent and persistent in asking, and unless someone says no, then I'll stop. But if they don't say no, I'll just keep emailing every now and then. So if you have been on my list and you have been chased by me, I will continue to do so until you tell me, no, thank you. Some people have asked me about what's your favorite episode or favorite guest. I'm going to disappoint you now and say, I do have one. No, I just joked. They're all awesome, of course. All my guests have been handpicked by me to come on the show and share their stories. One favorite I had recently was of Sam Stubbs from Simplicity, who is a phenomenal guest. He has done incredible work with his KiwiSaver KiwiSaver scheme, and providing Kiwis with low fees to help deal with help sort their KiwiSaver out. They do other things as well as a company. They're actually a non-for-profit, and he was so well connected with his why that on the show he cried. And to me, that's a badge of honor that a guest this high caliber has actually cried on the show, because he was so connected to his cause, and I was able to help him be comfortable and get there and display those emotions and be vulnerable. And I think vulnerability is such power, and it's so beautiful. And forever, that will be my first one that I got someone to cry on the show. And I just loved it. It was just so nice. Of course, I've had other people who've shared really vulnerable moments of their lives and things that have hurt them in the past and have changed their life to the better. So I'm sure that wasn't hard. And just because they didn't cry, it doesn't mean it wasn't significant. But one of the things that I feel like they've kept listeners coming back, well, I don't know if they're coming back or not, but we have had a lot of new viewers come and watch our show. We're attracting new views because we're so fresh and new. And there are some people who are regularly coming back and listening, and that's increasing day by day. It is a low number, but we're growing it day by day. I think they come back because they realize that this is good content that they would not be able to get anywhere else. We're so unique and it's special. Many people ask me about how I make money from the podcast. Well, I partner with my guests and I partner with my sponsors. That's pretty much how I do it. Some of them like to work with me to tell their story and brand, and we partner to bring that story to life by using our trusted platform, and some with really great success because they end up getting the visibility that they deserve, and the story gets told properly in a way that is truthful and powerful and impactful. And they really get excited because they haven't really used podcasts in the past. And so it's been quite nice to have that. But I do partner with my sponsors to help me support the podcast. And I am looking for new sponsors again if you want to. By the way, if you haven't clicked subscribe, if you're watching on YouTube, please do so now. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple, thank you so much. Please leave me a comment or rate the podcast on Spotify. Rating it will help me so much. So thank you for doing that. The other question I had about how do I attract sponsors in New Zealand? Well, I keep just asking, because if you don't ask, you don't get. That's all I'm going to say. Well, now, what have I learned from running the show? There are 9 things I have learned from running Notes from the Executive podcast, and here they are. 1, that success is not overnight. It takes time, and I hate that. Hate that so much. I just want success overnight. But it really have taught me, having spoken to over 40 people so far, that they slaved day in and day out to be able to get to the point where they are today. And they had good teams, of course. So yeah, success is not overnight. 2, that I thought I asked good questions, but I didn't. So I got better at it, and it helped me, having spoken to those people one-on-one. And mind you, I'm a journalist of about 10 years. So I thought I knew how to ask good questions. If I do ask good questions, please drop that in the comment and let me know if I do and if you like my questions. So I learned to sharpen my questions through the podcast. Number 3, I got really organized. It was a shit show before. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't. It was, I'm able to understand how filing system works and how my timing works, making sure that editors have what they need, making sure everything is going out on time most of the time. And so I really got organized. Having a podcast, having a small team have allowed me to be really organized and consistent and running logistics. Number 4, it actually helped me be fluent in speech and also to think on my feet when I'm speaking to somebody. Sometimes I don't even know what to ask next. I'm like, what do I even ask next? And so somehow in the moment I'm like, okay, so blah, 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 context, smooth transition, segue into the next question. And it just flows. It just works. And I feel like something in my brain just started to learn to practice doing that. And I love that because it helps me to always know what to say and be really fluent in speech. And I've always wanted to do that. And of course, there's so much to learn. Like, I'm still getting better at it. But it really does help having good presenting skills, good speaking skills and stuff like that. So I'm really incredibly happy to have got that. Of course, incredible people have walked through my doors and sat on this chair, well, that chair over there. And I can't believe it. I think that's... I learned that people will say yes. Even if there are some big shots or some really well-known people, they'll say yes. People want to say yes. People are not mean, not wanting to help. They'll say yes, and they'll help out. And they'll show up for you. So I'm incredibly proud and honored that these people have come, and it gave me more faith in people than ever. And number 6, I've learned that consistency and persistence gets you places, and it gets you noticed. Being consistent will get you noticed. Because it's not really about the what you're doing. It's actually about, are you still doing it, and did you not give up? And when people realize, oh my gosh, she's been doing this for, 1 year. She's still here and she's still doing well and she's actually getting better and better. That is amazing. I'm so proud. Number 7, commitment. Doing this every single week is really intense and hard, and I have learned the power of commitment. So I'm really, really proud of being able to learn what commitment really means, being committed to something. And I can't say I can't be bothered. This is going to happen. Number 8, friendships. Some guests have been incredibly generous with their time and with their friendship and with their mentorship, with their collaboration. We've developed incredible bonds with. I've developed incredible bonds with some of my guests who have invited me over for dinners and have come over to my house and had fantastic relationship building. And I wouldn't have been able to do that hadn't it been for the podcast. The other thing is, the final point is that being okay with criticism, which actually surprised me. Like, I thought I've always been defensive when I get criticized about how I do. Like, I do have some pride and I want to do really well. And I don't want anyone to criticize me, but I've been actually okay with criticism because I just simply say, thank you for that comment. Like, this is your opinion. Like, tell me how I can get better. Like, thank you. Like, did you notice anything better in my presentation? Or was that the only thing that you noticed? I did want to wanted to get into imposter syndrome because it was quite bad last year. I feel like, who am I to do this? I think we talked about that earlier, but I reminded myself that I am here on this earth for a reason, and I have those desires for a reason, which is to present and talk to people and do shows, and I'm skilled at it. And people say to me these days, how do you do this? It's so good. You're so natural. You're doing so well. We're so proud of you. We're blah, blah, blah. And it's so nice to hear that. Those compliments, kind of like reassuring. Like, I'm being reassured of the work that I do, and it is so public. Like, I sometimes cringe when I look at myself having to speak on social media and talk about the work, and when I don't get any likes or responses, and I'm thinking, did anyone even listen to this, or are people even interested? But I think they are. Anyway, this is just the beginning. I have a vision to build this channel to 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million subscribers and people who are in my community, to continue to learn about business and entrepreneurship. And I invite you to be part of that, because I'm doing this for you, really. At the end of the day, it's just to serve you, serve your goals, your dreams, to help you and grow you to become the best version of yourself, and to share the unfiltered, unedited stories that are shaping our local world, which is in New Zealand. So for this, I thank you for listening to me, for allowing me to look at my notes and talk, for allowing me to share my story, having reached the 1-year anniversary of our podcast. And thank you for walking with me in this journey. I really appreciate it. The best is yet to come. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.